Hi crafters, this is Cindy B from mrsbscraftroom.blogspot.com. Here today, kicking off my holiday video series for the next few weeks. We're going to be making some home decorations. So the first thing that we'll be making this week is this really super cute holiday wreath. I have to say that the concept came from a YouTube video that I saw that Custom Crops had put together. I believe it was last Christmas. So I'll have a link to my blog to the Custom Crops video on actually how to put this really cute wreath together. But I added a couple things. I actually created a gypsy file for the leaves, and I actually created score lines on the leaves. So it takes a couple of steps out of the process that Custom Crops has, and it made it really super simple to go together. So I'll give you a real quick close-up of the wreath. I think it's got about 144 holly leaves, and we're going to use Joys of the Season cartridge. That's it for this particular wreath, and we'll be using Glimmer Mist. And I purchased these little sugared berries from Michael's, and then the ribbon, the bow is from Michael's also. So I plan to make several of these for the holidays, hang a couple on my front door and a couple throughout my house. They were super simple to make. So let's get started. All right, so first we're going to start with the gypsy file. And I think I made a mistake previously. I said Joys of the Season. The holly leaf is actually from Winter Woodland. So what I've done is I've created a couple of different things here. The first mat is a 1.75 leaf. We're going to use the holly leaf in two different sizes to create our project. And I have copied and pasted so that I had the page completely full of the holly leaves in the 1.75. And then I made the second layer for the 1.75 holly leaf, and I made the score lines. So this was actually a step that I added that I'll show you how to do this on the Cricut. Made it super simple to make these holly leaves. So remember that the first mat is the actual leaf cut, and the second mat are the score lines. We'll actually do the score lines first, and then we'll go back and we won't unload the mat, and then we'll go back to the first mat and we'll cut the leaves out. So I did the same thing on the third and the fourth mat. The third mat has the holly leaves in a 1.25 size, and then the fourth mat has the score lines for the 1.25. So I'll go ahead and show you how I'm going to cut these out using the scoring feature. Okay, I've already got my paper down on the mat, and I will tell you I'm using Coordinations cardstock. I'm using two colors of green. The first color is Fern, and the second color is Forest. And you'll need about 10 sheets of cardstock in order to make this project. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I removed the housing unit from my Cricut. And I'm going to go ahead and take out that blade. Let's see if I can. I'm hand holding this camera, so let's see if I can do this. All right, so I've taken out the blade. There's the blade. And in order to do the scoring, I'm going to turn the blade upside down. There's the cutting part, and I'm going to put the cutting part back in the housing unit so that the bottom of the blade sticks out. So that's not the cutting part. It's the top, and that's going to create the score lines for us. So I'll go ahead and put that back into the Cricut. All right, and we'll go ahead and load our mat. I'm sorry for the jiggleness. I'm holding this camera so I can maneuver around. Whoops. Corner didn't stick too well. Okay, so now I've got my gypsy hooked up to my Cricut, and I've got the score lines for, let's see, the score lines for the 1.75 mat, which is the second mat. So that's the one we're going to do first. We're going to score it first. So we're going to go ahead and hit the cut over here, and hit the cut again, and hit OK. And it's going to go down, and it's just going to do the score lines for us. Okay. Okay, so when it finishes with the score lines, you're going to see that the Gypsy comes up with a selection of Unload Matte or Return to Design. We want to hit Return to Design, and then we'll select the first matte, which is the 1.75 leaf. And before I forget, I want to make sure that I change out our change our needle back to the original position. So we'll do that and put the blade back out. And so now my blade is out, and I have my blade set at 6. I'll go ahead and put this back into the Cricut. There we go.
I like this yellow.
Alright, so we're back in. The blade is in, and now we're going to hit cut. And I'm going to do multi-cut with these leaves because we're using Coordinations cardstock, so I'm going to do 2. So it's already set at 2, and we'll go ahead and hit cut. And okay, and now it's going to go back over the score lines that we've just made, and it's going to cut out all of the leaves. Okay, so once I have all of my holly leaves cut out, I've got the 1.75 and the 1.25 here in my pizza box. This is what I use when I'm going to use a glimmer mist or a shiny shimmer. And so this one I'm going to use the gold shimmer spritz, and I'm just going to lightly spray each leaf and then let that dry. So I'm going to do that on all of the leaves and let those dry, and then we'll start putting our wreath together. Okay, now that we have all of our holly leaves cut out, glittered, and dried, we're ready to start making our wreath. So the things we're going to be using are holly leaves, and I've bought a green foam ring, and you can buy this. They carry this at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's, etc. So you just buy this form. And then I went ahead and bought some little sugared berries here, and those we placed around the wreath. I'm using my hot glue gun, and be very careful using your hot glue gun. If you look at my hand here, I had a little bit of an incident yesterday with my glue gun, so trying to be a little bit more careful today. So what we're going to do is start out, and we're going to take one of the holly leaves that we've glittered, and remember we did the score lines on it, so I'm going to turn it over, and I'm just going to push down the score line, so I've got a fold, open it back up, and then just using any kind of instrument that you have, you can kind of turn the leaves under or over depending on what you would like. And you just basically start placing these around your wreath. If you go to the Custom Crops website, they actually go through placement with you, and they have a really great video on how to put the leaves on the wreath. So anyway, it's just a basic process of applying the leaves all around the base, and then adding some of the berries sporadically through the base. So I'd probably put some berries here and then cover them up with some other leaves as I go around. So I'm going to go ahead and put my leaves on the wreath, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so now we've applied the leaves all around the mold, the wreath form, and I put 4 clusters of the berries, and then I've left a spot to put a bow on the bottom. So I went ahead and made a bow, just a pretty simple bow, and I will hot glue that bow on the bottom here. Put some glue on the bow and center that. And just hold it there to dry. And kind of fluff up the bow a little bit. And we have a really cute holiday wreath. So I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the Gypsy file that I'm providing on my blog. And take a moment to stop by the Custom Crops YouTube video and check out the original wreath that they made. And hope your decorating goes well. Thank you, and we'll see you again next week.